Hello, this is Smarty Bomb here in central Indiana, where the temperature's in the 40s. Winds about 10 mile an hour, 12 mile an hour. Not too bad, not too warm, not too cold. And today I'm smoking a Maduro Dark Shark. Was going to smoke a pipe, came out, tried to find a pipe from my pipe traveling set, and I've lost it or misplaced it. So first of all, I want to apologize. I wanted to try to do the Back in the Day series every Wednesday. I got a new puppy. If you want to take a look at a video or two back, you'll see her. And every 2 hours, I'm out in the yard. I'm out in the yard walking the dog, trying to coax her into doing her duty outside the house. And if that's not successful, sometimes it happens inside the house. Well, then you gotta clean and mop and disinfect and spray the carpet and all that stuff. So who would have known? These Dark Shark cigars are on Cigars International. They're actually a pretty good smoke for their price, and the price is under $3 a stick. Can't beat it. Today I want to talk to you about back in the day. I was inspired by VR on Pork Roll Piper's channel. And if you haven't seen Pork Roll Piper's channel, you need to view it, watch it. He's interesting. And he talks about a full movie that's only about 48 minutes long, and it's on the YouTube. And it talks about taverns in Ireland and England and the old countries back in the day, and what those taverns meant to them, and how they was kind of like, you know, part of the society when a town started up. One of the first things it had was a church, the second things it had was a school, and the third things it had was a tavern. And sometimes not necessarily in that order. But anyhow, I want to fast forward out of the 1800s and get into the 1900s, the 1940s, 50s, the 60s, and especially the times after the World War II. After all, that's when my life started, and America really started to boom after the World War II. If you could remember back then, there was a housing boom because there was a family boom and a child boom. And they started building houses in the cities almost right next to each other. In fact, some of them had a common wall. They called them row houses because it was row after row after row, house after house. And sometimes when they got a little bit more out, they expanded a little bit and had a little side yard, maybe 10 feet, 20 feet between the two houses. And you could see that type of house if you can remember back watching the Archie Bunker, All in the Family. And if you watch Archie Bunker show All in the Family, you'll see his type of house, which is kind of a semi-modified row house. And then you expand it in neighborhoods that we have today, where the houses had a small yard to the side, a small yard in front, small yard in back. As those neighborhoods popped up, and Dad came home and had dinner, and they'd go out on a porch and rest and drink a beer or two or smoke a pipe or cigar. These neighborhoods, there would be pop up a little bar. Sometimes these bars were in front of these people's houses. They would just convert their front room into a bar and have people over and charge them for the drinks, and they'd start drinking. Others, they would build little buildings on the corners usually on the corner of two intersecting streets. And the guys back in the day, a lot of times, would just walk to these neighborhood taverns. You wouldn't want to drive. If you drove, you were limited to your drinks. But these become frequented more and more. And 6 days a week, 6 evenings a week, you could show up at your neighborhood bar, and there would be somebody there to share a drink with, talk about politics or religion or baseball or whatever, tell them what's on their mind. This become pretty popular. So popular that some of these places were packed full in the nights, in the evenings. So I had a uncle who was kind of a auto mechanic, and auto mechanics back then didn't make a lot of money like they do now. Most of our auto mechanics are underpaid. But he picked up a guitar for about $10 used somewhere and learned to play himself, taught himself. And then after about 6 months, 8 months or so, he thought he would take his guitar with him. When he went down to the neighborhood tavern with his guitar, he was more or less showing people that he got a guitar. He found one for the cheap price, and they asked him to play. So he started playing it, and everybody liked it and said, "Hey, why don't you come back next week and bring your guitar and we'll sing songs?" So they did, and he was a success. But he would go back and sing his songs. People started handing him money, and he thought, wow. Well, this is the third time I've shut off this video. Don't know how much it'll clip. Getting back to my story. My uncle got so he would travel around and play at some of these neighborhood taverns, and he actually quit his job and just started doing that, and he made money. Every once in a while, of course, we were poor, so Dad didn't have a lot of money to go to taverns and pay more for a beer. So, but every once in a while, maybe once a month, maybe in summertime once every twice a month, Mom and Dad would go and find out where my uncle was playing and visit him and get to know the local people and have a drink or two, and everybody was friendly. And the whole purpose of the neighborhood pub, the neighborhood bar, the neighborhood tavern was the exchange of ideas, the friendship, the fellowship. Somebody had something to say and needed somebody to listen. As I think about it, if you pay attention to the Y2 pipe community, isn't this what it's about? Or at least part of what it's about? Has the YouTube pipe community become the modern neighborhood tavern? Is it where we can come and go and express opinions and ideas and have others agree? Listen, this is way too long. I'm going to have to edit it, and I'll have some pictures of some of those old houses and neighborhood bars. And I didn't know whether I was running or not. Listen, yesterday's a memory, tomorrow's a promise. You all have a good day. I gotta go walk a dog. Let's see if this works. No.